The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Wrestling to the Max NXT Review.
I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Something back in the faces you say I...
Welcome all to Wrestling to the Max's NXT review for December 27th, 2017. And we are brought to you by W2Mnet.com, the place where you go get all your great wrestling podcasts and a lot more. Don't forget to go hit that subscribe button over at Wrestling to the Max. Once you do that, you'll get all of our great shows in one place. And not only that, if you hit that review button and you go ahead and make sure you leave a rating, that'll give us a little bit of props, and it'll also help us get some word from you, so we'll make this show better. And of course, don't forget to give some big love to 411mania.com and lastwordonprowrestling.com, both great sites with plenty of wrestling articles and a lot of great stuff over there that you're not going to want to miss out on. I, of course, am Gary Vaughan, and along with me is your host, Paul Leazar.
Heyo.
Paul, we are going to be getting down and dirty with the NXT review for the last of 2017. This will be the last one for this year. It's kind of crazy to think, man.
Yeah, and I mean, we have a break too next week because there's the 2-hour NXT in review for 2017, which should probably just be a fun show on its own. But I doubt we're going to do an episode talking about stuff we've already talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Why would we? Unless we just want to bore people to death about, just rehashing things. I don't want to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I was just thinking about that as I'm sitting there watching NXT. I'm like, oh, I forget. They do this every year. 2-hour episode in the year in review. And I'm really kind of curious the ratings to get on the show. But not only that, I sat there and thought to myself, are they going to do? Are they going to sprinkle in some little tidbits here for this upcoming year, or is it just all rehashing? I always kind of think about those things. I'll be honest with you, I never watch the year-end show, so if they have any nuggets in there, I may miss them.
There was that one year, and I want to say it was like 2012, 2011, where they had Cesaro face William Regal on the year-end show, which was just phenomenal. But yeah, unless they do like an actual match that they haven't shown before or something like that, I usually skip it as well. But NXT's been so good this year, and it'd be kind of nice. I mean, I'm sure they're going to talk about Pete Dunne on there, because why wouldn't you? And, just a whole bunch of the other cool Johnny Gargano and Ciampa's feud, I'm sure is going to get highlighted, especially after what happens on this episode, which we're going to talk about here in a little while. But, I might give it a spin this go around.
Yeah, I might do the same. You never know. I may just get feeling a little bit more, excited about it. Right now, I'm just not super excited about it. But yeah, I mean, what's great is we got an episode here that I think is going to be a lot of fun, and this one's going to be packed full of interesting things. That we'll have a break next week, but I mean, this one sets us up for the next time we actually get on this show and do one. Because trust me, I can't wait to see what happens after this. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing.
Let's do it. They open up with tag team action as the Street Profits are wrestling this week instead of talking to people out in the streets. They're taking on Sean Mercer and Riley Apex. Mercer, it should also be noted, has been on Evolve recently. He was the shorter one who was all muscles and everything like that. Riley Apex is maybe affectionately or not affectionately referred to by Mr. Nigel McGuinness as JBL Jr. So, fun facts there. Street Profits, of course, squashed them in 2 minutes, Gary.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, one of those matches you just feel good for the Street Profits. Good job, guys. But I do want to know more about those guys that you just mentioned. And, I mean, JBL Jr., that makes me curious what the story is behind all that and what's up with, just these guys in general. They didn't get a chance to really shine or do anything super spectacular here, which is, all the sense in the world for the Street Profits. But it's cool to see these new talents, and I'm excited to see if we do get more of these guys in 2018.
I mean, if Riley Apex is somebody actually from the WWE system, he fits them perfectly. He's huge, dude. Like, he is giant. He got at least 6'6". Sean Mercer is sort of... I don't know if you've seen Peter Casa yet, Gary, but if anybody out there listening has... sort of the same build. Short, super ripped, maybe just not as flippy. So
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen Casa, but I think they definitely got my interest in seeing more from these guys, and hopefully, like I said, in 2018, we'll get to know more about them.
Right. I mean, in the Street Profits, Gary, get some promo time afterwards to go into the crowd, talk about how they sort of found themselves here in 2017, got on a roll, and are looking to conquer the entire tag team division in 2018 as they run down all the big names out there, the Undisputed Era, Sanity, Authors of Pain, list goes on and on. They want those titles, Gary.
Yeah, and I think this is a great precursor to what we're going to be getting in the near future. In 2018, I definitely do see these guys moving up the ladder. I don't think you're going to see them just squashing people anymore. I think they're going to be very competitive. I'm really excited about that. And hopefully it's something better than what we've seen with Heavy Machinery. I love Heavy Machinery. Don't get me wrong. But they're never on TV. Mm-hmm. And ever since they didn't succeed in getting those tag belts, it's almost like they're kind of on the back burner a little bit. They're here, and then they'll miss 3 weeks and then come back, and which I understand to an extent, but I want more from Heavy Machinery, and I definitely don't want the Street Profits to get in that same mode. I'm hoping in 2018 they do come on strong. I'm not saying give them the titles it's the first time they get a title shot, but I do hope this year we're going to see more of those guys and in more competitive matches, because they've got a lot of talent, but we need to see them in action and at a larger scale to see if they can, progress and be even better than they are now.
I agree. Yeah, we've mostly only seen them in squash matches, and they've had a couple of outings. I'm forgetting their names. The rich dudes.
Moss and Sabatelli.
Yes, thank you. They've had a couple outings with them. I still don't really think we've seen everything they have to offer yet, which sort of has me excited. We know Angelo Dawkins has been in the system for a while. Montez Ford looks like he has a ton of potential, not only as a high flyer, but just as a really fun, sort of flippy babyface kind of guy. So I'm interested to see where they go there. I mean, if we were talking about the tag team scene in general, there's sort of an echelon that Street Profits have sort of found themselves in the middle, and they're clearly above, like you mentioned, Machinery and now Sabatelli and Moss since they defeated them in the feud. But that top tier is kind of, power-packed with a lot of stars who, not only within NXT, but around wrestling at large, so large mountain for those guys to climb next year to try to break into that pack.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And the one thing I want to see next year coming with the Street Profits is I'm okay with all the crowd interaction, hanging with the fans outside, all that great stuff. But I really do want to see more about these guys and to really showcase their charisma and just put them out there even more than they are. I think that they've got a lot to offer, and it's not just inside the ring. So that's what's cool about them. That's what I'm really excited about, this coming year with those guys. And that entire tag division, I mean, like you said, it's really top heavy. They got some big acts up there, and the guys down below are not bad. They're just not at that point yet. So this coming year hopefully will be an even better tag division and even better when it comes to just all around great week-to-week action.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Moving on from there, we have Ember Moon defending the NXT Women's Championship against Sonya Deville in a sort of ho-hum match. It never really grabbed me. Of course, Ember Moon gets to retain here. She takes a beating for a while. She ends up fighting back with the Eclipse to get the victory here and retain her championship. I don't know. Sonya Deville, she's had a couple of good performances. She's coming along, and I think you can see that. It's just there's nothing engaging about her inside the ring to me yet. That's sort of, I think, what's holding her back from being, a better, from that next level, of betterness, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm not going to get out my grammar or vocabulary book, so we'll go with that, betterness. Or as I say, gooder.
Gooder, yes. Much gooder.
Much gooder. But no, I'll be honest with you, and Paul, I love to disagree with you sometimes because it's kind of fun to have those opposite opinions and go back and forth, but I can't. Every word you just said is very true to me, too. I sat there watching this match thinking to myself, am I supposed to care? Am I supposed to really have an emotion about Sonya Deville losing, or am I really supposed to care that even Ember Moon won? Which Ember did an okay job. I'm not, no complaints. I just don't think, like you said, the match grabbed me. I never really was emotionally involved. I kind of felt the whole way through we're going to have Ember Moon win. There's no way with Sonya already on the main roster that we're going to have her take the victory and then all of a sudden, well, Ember Moon, there you go. You're the champ, but now you know, this just doesn't make sense. No, they did it where it makes sense. It just never grabbed you. So I think there's a lot of work left to do with Sonya Deville. I think that's the reason we don't have her, you know, well, partly it's part of why we don't have her at the Riot Squad. I'll say that. Because she's probably just as engaging as Ruby Riott, maybe to an extent. Maybe Ruby gets a little bit of headway. I have not been a big fan of what's going on there. But I think with Paige, at least Paige can take that center stage, and it feels more of a better working relationship, if I could say it that way. So when you get her on NXT by herself and being alone, you just don't have that, and you go back to seeing the weakness. I think that's the biggest problem right now. It's not that she's bad in the ring. She does okay. She's not the greatest, but she does okay. But the problem we have here is that charisma. The problem is really the character. The character just does not have anything to grab you. It's almost like playing a video game, MMA Fighter #1.
Exactly. You know, I don't want to be too hard, because she is still pretty young as far as the business goes and all that, so her finding her way is just going to be a long story, and they're taking a lot of chances on a lot of these girls who have either been in NXT for a while, like a Liv Morgan or a Mandy Rose, and hoping that they just keep progressing up on the main roster. And I think your points are right on about at least Absolution. With Paige coming back, you could have put, you know, two women in paper bags behind her. They're probably going to have a good time of trying to get over in that sort of situation, just because Paige is really the star of the show, and they're going to be lackeys. So I think Sonya and Mandy do a pretty solid job of that, at least where they don't have to be center stage. That's not what they're there for. They're there to sort of help Paige get over. So,
yeah, it's a difficult task. It really is, and it's kind of unfair in a way. I think they got kind of yanked out of NXT. I really feel that way. And it's an apparent, and it's so sad, Paul. And I know we're on talking SmackDown. This is NXT, but NXT had Ruby Riott for quite a while, so I think it's a fair point to say here on this show, Ruby had a lot of potential in NXT, and I think on SmackDown now, I think all that has been scrubbed away off the chalkboard, and we're rewriting this name, and then having to remember why we're supposed to care, understand, and I just don't think it's there, and that's what bothers me so much. I want to be behind what's going on with Ruby Riott, but right now I'm just not grabbing it. Whereas on NXT, really thought the character was fun. It was kind of punk rock. It was this crazy thing, you know, where you're really getting behind her as a babyface and her as a heel. It's just, I don't know. It's just so weird. So hopefully they don't take more of our NXT superstars and just throw them up there to flounder.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ruby was always going to be sort of a short-term stay in NXT, if you will, just because she's been wrestling for so long on the indie scene. And you know, Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan over there on the Riot Squad have sort of been around NXT for a while too, or the indie scene in Sarah Logan's case. So they have a lot of experience. It's just, writing has let down that entire angle with the Riot Squad over there on SmackDown, which, like you said, this isn't the SmackDown review show. That's already happened this week with Harry and Brandon stepping in for Liz over there. This week at least. So if you want to hear more about that, go listen to them. But I agree. I mean, this is sort of something I have a small problem with WWE on, is that the NXT, they have so many women, it seems like, in their development scene, and some of them seem destined to want to be fixtures on NXT, or at least Triple H, or whoever's running that whole scene back there, right? Wants them to be fixtures on NXT. Some of them, it seems like he's okay with letting them progress onto the main roster, and seeing if an Alexa Bliss can happen, right? And Alexa was already starting to come along and find her way on NXT before she got brought up. And while her ring skills might not have been there, she had the other side of the equation down. I don't know if you can say that for Sonya, or really for the rest of them that came up as far as trying to work the WWE system, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, those are some fair points. And I think that, this discussion does have some relevancy because a lot of the stars we're talking about now, including Ember Moon, they're going to be moving up eventually, and I'm just hoping that this all works out in the right way because I really, me and you cover NXT. We're great followers of this show for a long, long time, and I kind of take it personal when the NXT stars go up and don't exactly hit it off exactly the way I want them to. So that's why I brought the point up. So there you go. Ember Moon, once again, we're going into this next year, and this may not have been a stellar match. Maybe they wanted it to be. I don't know. It just didn't hit it. But I will say this, next year with Ember Moon, it's going to be a lot of fun to see how long she holds that title, especially with all the new players that will be taking her on in 2018.
Yeah, I mean, they throw two of them up right away here as Kairi Sane comes out. She has new theme music. She has a little telescope that she brings out to eye Ember Moon in the ring in the championship. But here comes Shayna Baszler, Gary, from behind and chokes her out on the stage, making her debut on NXT. The crowd instantly into this. And Sonya, I'm sorry, dear, but if you're coming around NXT again, Shayna's probably going to want to murder you.
Oh, I know that's true. It makes you often wonder if those two ever mixed it up in the MMA world. I don't know. I'm not the MMA podcast. We have a great one here on the network. Go check it out. MMA to the Max is an excellent show. But I'm just not invested in that world, so I don't know. But yeah, definitely. Sorry, Sonya. Good thing you got out when you did. So, but yeah, Shayna Baszler looks amazing here. I think it's a great deal. This is a really cool thing, especially it's a big tease, right? They tease you like, hey, here's this big star we've been revealing and really teasing for a while, and here she is, and she's choking out one of the bigger NXT women's stars here. So I think it's an exclamation mark to what's going on in that division. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and of course this makes sense too because Kairi beat her in the Mae Young Classic, looking for revenge. It seems moving on towards maybe eyeing up the NXT women's title, and of course you still have the Iconic Duo in play. So, I mean, if you want to take a quick snapshot of that entire division, especially Nikki Cross still around too, and you're sort of opening up some spots, at least in the mid-card, to bring in some of the newer faces you got. The women's scene continues to sort of just percolate, and it feels like we're sort of waiting for that big upswing to come along again since the Four Horsewomen, right? Because it's been them, and then Asuka, and now it's Ember, and trying to find some foils, it feels like now.
And I don't think that they're far from it. I really don't. I think that they've got lots of potential here. Like you said, it's percolating, and we are getting closer and closer as they have new talent show up, and talent that's just not, hey, we're learning. People that have actually been invested in the business for quite a while. And some people that are learning, like Shayna Baszler, she's still learning, but such a big star, such a great, athlete. I think someone who will pick this up pretty quickly. So it's going to be really fun, but I trust me, I don't think we're probably too far away from reaching that pinnacle that we once were at with the Four Horsewomen.
Yeah, I think that might be right around the corner, honestly.
Yeah.
Paul Ellering gets some promo time here to hype up the Authors of Pain and telling the Undisputed Era, namely Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, that they are on borrowed time as tag team champions because the Authors are looking for those belts again, Gary. We also learn later on that Sanity has cashed in their rematch clause, so in 2 weeks we'll see them clash with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly once again for the straps. And then we get this interview with Ember Moon backstage to talk about the altercation between Shayna and Kairi. She knows she's got a target on her back with the championship, but she's eager to prove herself in the ring, and sort of, and this is sort of something I wish they would talk about a little more, is that Ember wanting to prove herself should really kind of fend from not only personal desire, not only from her getting injured, but from coming up short against Asuka so many times and wanting to surpass her. I feel like that would be a wonderful story and a great way to keep you invested in her. I
think so too. And, it sounds like I'm being a hateful person. I'm really not. I think Ember Moon, once again, is a great athlete. She's definitely going to be one of those centerpieces to what we were talking about earlier when it comes to that new realm and that new greatness in NXT when it comes to the women's division. I just don't know yet that she's grabbed me when it comes to full charisma, full on just really enthralled in what she's bringing. Right now, she's there, she's a talent, but I haven't really got that idea that, oh man, no matter what you do, it's going to be great, right? We got that with Asuka. We got that, of course, with the Four Horsemen. You just really, they have that next level. I think she's still trying, and I think athletically she's there. In the ring, she's there. It's just, I think she's still learning this whole character thing. I think it's a work in progress, and I want to see it progress to where we are just thinking Ember Moon, huge star. Right now, we're thinking Ember Moon, potential huge star, and I don't want to think that anymore. So she's doing good, and I think what you're saying is right up the alley of what could really lead that journey to being a huge star, because you want her to have something to reach for. Right now, you don't really know what she's reaching for. She's already the champion, but if you bring in, hey, I've got to be what Asuka was and better. Wow, now she's got a new brass ring to grab. Vince. Yeah, I just have to say that.
I was with you.
I just don't like it. I shouldn't have said it. But I kept thinking Vince. Why did I say what Vince says? Come on.
I mean, we all bow at the altar of Vince, of course, or maybe that's what he dreams about. But
that's his dream.
Yeah, to me, it not only helps you get attached to people, but it also shows that they have long-term memories as far as remembering feuds and remembering things that have happened, which is something that NXT sort of likes to harp on, is its own history. I feel like you're kind of missing it there as far as that drive that would I think really help people maybe get behind Ember and be like, yeah, she can be the next Asuka, why not?
Yeah, exactly. You're right. And, real quickly before we pass up on these little video, what do you call them? The interviews or whatever you want to call it. The packages, with Sanity and, of course, the Authors of Pain. I don't know, love triangle between those tag belts and those teams that we're talking about in that mixture. It's still compelling. It's still interesting. So I don't have a problem with that leading into this next year, because these teams are so powerful. I would watch them battle it out all day. So I'm still interested, even though some people may say I'm getting bored of it. I'm not. I'm really invested in what's going to happen this upcoming episode or 2 or 3 when they have these big matches for the tag belts.
It's really going to be interesting to see what they're doing with these guys going into the next TakeOver special, whether it's another 3-way match or something else along those lines, maybe. Because, I mean, they're still very much intertwined. War Games apparently settled nothing other than just to establish the Undisputed Era, which is fine. But as far as those 3 teams go, maybe they need to sort of deepen the feud a little more. Because I don't have a problem with them all facing each other. It's still great stuff. I need some more reasons to get invested, I think, now, since you've sort of had the big blow-off at War Games.
Yeah, some blood involved, huh? That's what you're saying. More blood?
I think Wolf has bled enough, honestly.
Yeah, you did. But, like you said, what if they do something that's, added to the equation? Wouldn't it be kind of interesting if the Undisputed Era stole Nikki Cross? Or
that'd be interesting. I mean, honestly, AOP going on a tear might be all I need, to be honest.
You're not far off on that one either. So I think there's many versions of this story we could tell, but I think all of them, for the most part, will shake out to be something entertaining. So that's what makes me happy.
Exactly. I mean, and you're talking entertaining, Gary. This main event was just a heap of fun here, as you have the number 1 contendership's fatal 4-way match, no disqualifications, of course. Johnny Gargano, Lars Sullivan, Killian Dain, Aleister Black. And really, from the bell, this one is basically a car crash. You eventually have them battling up the aisle, up onto the stage. People start getting thrown through the announce table. They're running everywhere. It's nuts. There's action all over the place. Eventually, coming down the stretch, it looks like Aleister's got this one in the bag. Here comes the Undisputed Era. First, Fish and O'Reilly pull him out of the ring. Aleister deals with them. Here comes Adam Cole. He goes to knee him, runs it into the ring apron, eats a last shot on the outside. Gargano takes him out, ends up running Killian Dain into Lars Sullivan up against the stairs, and then leaps into the ring, slingshot DDT onto Aleister Black, and wins, to the entire surprise of at least the live audience and maybe a lot of people watching at home. Black eats the pinfall. It's his first loss in NXT, which is a huge talking point, I feel like. And Gary, looking into that crystal ball, if it's not Ciampa ready in the wings to come out and ruin Gargano's day, come take over, I'm going to be a sad panda.
Oh, I bet you will be. And, you know, me too, because I'm a big Ciampa fan. And Gargano, good job. Really happy for you. And I still love your theme music. I love everything that's going on there. But, you know, Ciampa coming back is all I care about. So, yeah, I'm excited. No, I want to see it take place. I'm right there with you. If it doesn't take place, it'll be kind of a letdown. It really will be. And I think it'll kind of take some air out of the room, too, because I think a lot of other people besides us want to see that happen. But yeah, I mean, there's big things coming here. Gargano winning this match is huge. It really, really is.
Yeah.
Watching this match overall, you really kind of felt like Gargano was a great contender. He had a lot of opportunities, but, you know, the three guys he's in the ring with are possibly future NXT champions. I mean, they are, you know, the biggest and the baddest probably right now going in this NXT roster. And, you know, if I was going to have this, you know, match, I probably would have got a birth control company to sponsor it, because it's Protect Fest. You got to protect all these guys. I mean, you got to protect, you know, Killian Dain, one of the biggest monsters in NXT. I mean, right? I mean, wouldn't you think so? And you got to protect the other couple of guys here with Aleister Black, who, you know, like you said, had not had a loss till this one. That was... Man, I really didn't know what to think about that. I still don't know what to think about that. Do I have a major problem with it? I don't think so. This is the number one reason why it had to happen sometime. It had to, and it's better in a multi-man match rather than in a match these just one-on-one singles. So, you know, besides that, I got why they did everything. I got why they protected these guys most of the match. It was a lot of 50-50 in this, and which it should have been. I'll be honest with you, really much should have been. The way Gargano won, I really didn't have a problem. It just kind of made you kind of sad. Aleister Black no longer being undefeated. It kind of makes you twinge a little bit, but I still was okay with it.
I'm fine with it, too, because, like you said, it's protected, right? You had a whole bunch of stuff keeping him from winning when it looked like he was about to already, which I'm fine with, right? Aleister, I feel like, is probably going to be around NXT for a long time to come, at least throughout the next year. I'd be willing to go out on a limb and say, just because I think you look at the package, I think you look at the ring work, it's already there, right? This guy's terrific in the ring. He's proven it several times. I think the gimmick and the whole package as far as the entrance and everything like that, like we talk about on here all the time, the guys with the big entrances already have something to hook you into. Aleister has that. Not to mention him just straight up murdering people for months on end has been insanely successful. And now I think you have a real feud with some stakes in it, right? Because obviously Adam Cole ain't chump change. You know, War Games saw to that as far as NXT went, and if you've been following him for longer than that, you know what this guy can do. And to me, the awesome foil that would be Adam Cole to Aleister Black, setting up a big feud going into next year, and maybe longer, for all we know, could lead to some great stuff. And obviously, this looks like Cole and Aleister are going to be going one-on-one come Philadelphia time, which I am all sorts of down for, just because we got a small taste, I felt like, in that qualifier match of what these two could do against each other.
I'm salivating as we speak, so give me a minute while I clear the spit. Boy. But yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think that does set up a great feud there. And these other two guys, you know, involved Killian Dain, and I'm blanking on the third one.
Mr. Lars Sullivan, of course.
I need to write his name. I love this guy so much. I see him in my mind, in my dreams, but I still never remember his name. This is the second week in a row I forgot his name. Lars Sullivan. Come on, guy. I always want to call him Dolph Lundgren. I'm sorry, I just do. I don't know why. But Lars Sullivan is a guy, once again, I mean, he kind of took some beating here, too, in a way. He was the one put to the table, but in a way that speaks volumes for what he's doing, too, because it took that to get him out of the picture for a little while. And so those kind of spots don't really sour me on him either. I think that, you know, he did what he had to do. He got back in there, and he's going to be a really huge work in progress. I think he's something they're going to really tinker with, really try to see where they can take him And I'm very, very happy he's in this picture right now. I think him and Killian Dain are going to be the monsters of NXT for a little while, besides the Authors of Pain and their own thing. So that's what excites me here, and I think that's what made this match so good. It was exciting. You had this just giant match full of the biggest stars in NXT, and at the same point, you got a chance to see their weaknesses, their strengths, everything, all of the above, and then have the underdog win. It always makes for a great story.
I think that's sort of the strength of letting Aleister take the fall here, too, is that Gargano obviously had been losing for a long time, and while that hadn't really tempered his popularity any, winning the match against Cassius Ohno to qualify for this, and then pinning Black, essentially, despite all the interference, got that huge pop, and basically got him right back on track to feeling like one of the biggest guys in NXT, at least. And this is sort of what I think we'd been talking about really since DIY broke up. Gargano, you could pull the trigger on him at any time whenever you felt the moment was right, and it looks like the moment might be right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he's one of the biggest baby faces NXT has, and he's going to be really exciting to see what he goes from here. And that big feud coming up, hopefully with Ciampa, like I said, hopefully that is really, I think, going to take him to another level. I can't imagine how much fun that's going to be and how great that whole experience will be as we follow that story. So, Gargano's got some good things ahead of him. I really, really do think so. I'm really looking forward to what he's got going.
Yeah, plus the idea of those two main eventing the TakeOver come WrestleMania weekend has dollar signs just scribbled all over it already. So, if that is, of course, what happens, we obviously don't know where Ciampa's health is right now, but we're assuming a lot in praying, I know, at least on Gary's end, for a lot. So,
let me say this, okay? So this may be something that's really kind of, maybe I don't know how this works, but I got on YouTube this afternoon, kind of looking at some NXT stuff, NXT exclusives, and they had, the post-match stuff with Gargano walking backstage and running into Cien Almas, and, Cien Almas, of course, has to do the stereotypical Hispanic thing, I guess. For some reason, the WWE, they all have to say Pedro. He gets called a Pero, and I'm like, okay. But anyway, after that, I let the video run, and the next thing was Ciampa giving his speech. So it makes me really wonder if they did it on purpose. They have those back-to-back, so we kind of remember about this thing with Ciampa. That way, when it appears at this big event, it's not a big surprise. I don't know. It's a thought.
Mm-hmm. I think it also might be a reason to watch the 2-hour sort of recap show next week, too, because the Ciampa turn was a huge moment this year in NXT. It was just super unfortunate that he has, a really big injury that he has to fight back from now. But boy, if he can even just do the attack and then sort of disappears for a while and is just doing promos and stuff like that and sort of just haunting Gargano again more physically all the way up until that match comes for TakeOver WrestleMania weekend, it's going to be a fun ride if that's all coming to pass. So I can't wait. And of course, if that's sort of highlighted a lot on that 2-hour show, which was going to be my original point before I got sidetracked there, I would start putting your bets down that that's going to be a sure thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where we're going, and I'm after this big 2-hour special next week, we'll know more, and we'll have more headway into leading in those big shows, leading on the road to WrestleMania and the road to TakeOver. Boy, I'm excited, Paul. I can't tell you how excited I am about what's going on in NXT right now, and 2018 looks bright.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go, guys. That is our NXT review. That concludes it for 2017. We've had a great year, and we're going to have another excellent year in 2 weeks. So don't miss that episode when we come back and we review the next full episode of NXT in 2018. And to go find out all of our great podcasts that we've done over 2017 and just do your own year-end review with us. Make sure you go subscribe, rate, and review over at Wrestling to the Max. And, of course, don't forget to go and check us out on W2Mnet.com. That's the website where we are hosted every single week. Make sure you come check us out there as well. Not only will you get our great podcast, but you'll get a lot of other great wrestling podcasts in the world of wrestling that you're going to love. Trust me, so many great guys and gals out there working hard and just putting out great content for you. So we don't want you to miss a minute of the action. So go check out W2Mnet.com. And also, 411mania.com and lastwordonprowrestling.com are both great supporters of ours, so we want to send you over there as well. Got some great articles, some great content that you don't want to miss out on. Please go check them out as well. Support them because they support us. And once again, we thank you so much for checking us out tonight. Come check us out at the Wrestling of the Max episodes this week. We're going to be doing part 2 of our episode 279. It'll be a lot of fun. You don't want to miss it because we'll also be doing some New Year's resolutions for our wrestling thoughts and where we want to see wrestling in 2018. So you may have some NXT stuff over there too and a few other things, so don't miss that. And we're really looking forward to seeing you guys over there. So for myself and for Paul Leazar, we will catch you guys down the road.
Have a good one, guys.
The previous podcast is a W2Mnet.com original podcast. For more great content like this, go to W2Mnet.com for the worlds of wrestling, video games, entertainment, and sports.